Hi everyone. I really shouldn't even get involved with any true crime case because they bother me and I see things the way they truly are reported and without biases as well. So let's get to Lindsay Clancy. She murdered her 3 children well, one was like 9 months old, little boy, baby. The other one was another boy. He was about 3 years old. And her daughter, Cora, I think she just turned 5. A horrible thing, yes, to do to her husband. It was premeditated, the district attorney says, and I do agree with her. I do. I believe she looked at the time and she sent her husband to get the food. She was not in a psychotic or psychosis episode. Psychotic episode. No, I don't believe that. And if it happened exactly when she left. But then remember, Patrick had to go to CVS. And he wasn't sure exactly the medication to get. So he calls her or texted her. And he talked to her because he thought it sounded like she was doing something. So, yeah. So anyhow, she wasn't having a psychotic break then either. Yeah. So, nevertheless, I realized something. They're suing Dr. Tuffs. And actually, she's the one with the telehealth medicine business. Telemedicine. And it wasn't just 15 minutes. Patrick was also not involved in any of this. Most of the time, it was just one-on-one with just Lindsay. So he didn't really know the medications. And this is a problem I have, and the way it's being reported. Oh, she's on 15 different types of medications. Well, the biggest problem was Lindsay didn't take medication. So they would be prescribed. Maybe she'd try one pill, and that was it, and discontinue. Remember, Patrick had all those, full bottles of medication. And we also know what was in her system. There was no SSRIs, in her system. So, I don't know what they're suing her for. Zoloft, Prozac, she was on this before in college. She was on Prozac in college. She was actually on Wellbutrin in college and had no side effects. So this woman is very manipulative, and I think she manipulated her husband. And it's just horrible what happened. Totally horrible. Yes, I know it was superficial. Jumping out the window, well, I think she probably slipped. I don't know. But I don't believe she had a psychotic break. I don't. Sometimes people just do things and you can't explain it. You can't make excuses. Why do people shoot their kids sometimes? Why do people murder their kids? It's not everybody's having a psychotic break. Sometimes it's just an act of pure evil. And you have to see it for what it's worth. There are mothers that have had this, and many mothers end up still doing life. However, she didn't have any of those symptoms, no. There was a Mother Coronado. She murdered 3 of her kids, but they were like back to back. She was living in one room. Nobody talks much about her. But, we have a system where you can send social workers in. Oh, they have a nice house. They got clothes. They have nice things. So they don't come back and they don't remove the kids. They should have been removed. I think Patrick wasn't engaged enough to understand the medications, and he should have been. I'm not sure why. Maybe just so much under his plate. Don't know. From what I understand, he did remarry, and I think it was like 4 months later. He left his wife, though, with the kids a lot of times because he didn't think she would do anything. But here's the weird thing. He finds her outside when he gets back. She said she tried to kill herself, right? The door was locked. So I don't know how long it takes to figure that out and open the door, but when you go looking for your children, it was so quiet. Well, I think he asked her where are the kids. I think she actually communicated, but then that was it, right? She said, I tried killing myself. Where are the kids? They're in the basement. And he's on the phone. He calls 911. And he's on the phone for 5 minutes at least until the police arrive. It was like 6 minutes until the paramedics and emergency medical services arrive. That's time is of the essence, but nevertheless, why didn't, like, I don't know if the 911 operator knew, like, wait, I got toddlers. I mean, there's one that's 9 months old. They're in the basement, she said. You need to go check on them immediately. Would it have made a difference? Probably not, from what they're saying. I don't know. But who knows? And not only that, but if they weren't hurt, you saw those basement steps. I mean, can you imagine that toddler walking up those steps? And then he could have fell down and hurt himself. If nothing had happened, I mean, I don't know. I would have ran down right away. Sorry, I'll come back to you, but I need to check on my kids. I would expect, go check on my kid. I don't care if I'm hurt. Check on my son. That's how I would have been. But this was so weird. It was so weird. And now he's on board with, Lindsay. And I just realized it's probably because there's a lawsuit. He is suing Dr. Tuffs. She did nothing wrong. He was not present for any of these telemedicine visits. They didn't have to be telemedicine. You had the option of coming in, but that was never asked. Not until it was too late, I guess. I think these people want a doctor to cure them, and it just doesn't work like that. You have to be responsible, and you have to work at curing yourself. It's not just there's one medication that's going to work. No. Lindsay never stayed in any of these programs, okay? Remember that it was a 201. It was a voluntary stay. The way she seemed to plan, I gotta leave though. I have to be there for my daughter's birthday party, which I had planned. I think I think she was very manipulative. She may have histrionic. I hate to always say she was a narcissist, but it sounds like she probably had some of that too. Borderline personality disorder. I think she had a lot of people fooled, including the nanny. Yeah. Great mother. Yeah, they're all great mothers, what they want you to see. Yeah, but I also saw the Facebook post, and she couldn't stand. I mean, she had a fight with the middle boy all the time. The kid was like, 3 years old? He was a baby. He was an infant. So maybe she should stop having all these kids so close together. But I don't know. I just think this was a very weird... I mean, I wouldn't have left her alone with my kids. I just wouldn't have. After all the problems she had suffered and Patrick left her alone. Yeah, something's really, really odd with this. And she actually said to Dr. Tuffs, I don't know if Patrick's parents know this or not. I mean, they were in the courtroom. But what she stated was, I won't let the kids go to the in-laws. Why is that? They never ask either, which is weird. I guess maybe Patrick didn't know. But, I think when it comes down to people, I'll sue, You want to sue the people that have tried to help. And they did, in this case, the psychiatrists, they did everything right. They really did. They did. They did everything within their power. That's the facts. Those are the facts. And somebody has to side up for the doctors in this, and I will.